Okay, hi, we're live. Hello, Amy. Hello, Alan.
Hello, Deb. Hello, Alan.
Thank you.
Hello, Amy. Hello, Deb.
Hello, hello. Tomorrow we're going to have some playwrights. We're going to live stream with them. I'm going to record it and put it, I think, on our Patreon account. This is a whole mock session. So thank you both for hopping on and letting me go through the paces here. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Should we talk about Frozen Women Flowing Thoughts for just a second? We've never published anything before, so we're going to be publishing 2 books at once. Hopefully they'll be out in the summer. We have a fundraiser going on. We're over halfway there, and there's going to be 76 different playwrights, contributing 76 different monologues into this anthology. So do you, either of you, I know you've been kind of watching it, but you're also on the board. Do you want to talk about it at all? How you feel about it? Anything like that?
I'm just super excited. I think this is it's incredible, and to have so many playwrights involved, it's amazing. I mean, from the beginning, and all of the not applications. That's not the right word. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And just being very witness to the process is kind of exciting too. So yeah.
I find it exciting too, and very inspiring to see in some of the video stuff that I've seen that will be coming out. Just the faces, to put the faces with the names, and the name with the work, and just to see all these people who are inspired and aspirational about this project. I think it's a contagious thing, and I think that it will have an effect beyond just the 76 playwrights that are represented here. I think that it will show that there's a reason to keep writing, a reason to stay in it, stay creative. Yeah.
And hopefully for performers to keep performing. There is material out there. I know there have been efforts made in the name of empowering women, and people have taken stages to say that, there aren't really any plays written by women, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. So I feel like this is like a right in their face. Like, there's so many women writing, and they're writing really good stuff. So instead of only being able to choose like 2 to 4% of the submissions when we produce plays, I was able to choose over 20% because we're publishing. So that's been a really different experience for me. Plus, I'm writing a book at the same time. So that's wild.
No small thing.
Yeah, the book came first because you guys were like, you need to write your, memoir, and I'm like, too young to have a memoir, but not really. And so it's just, I think we've decided they're both gonna be published at the same time. So I don't know what else to say about it. How are you both feeling about that?
Go ahead, Amy.
I was just sorry. I was feeling a little like the villain with the cat in my lap.
Yeah.
I think no, and I think it's great that they're coming out together. Like, what companion pieces? Like, hopefully people will see one or be interested by one, and then be compelled to check out the other one. So I think it's good strategy.
I think it's really, really great, because I think at least at 21C there were 75 plays 70 plays that were produced, and I find it interesting that in sort of, if you will, one fell swoop, you are now allowing 76 playwrights to have their voices heard.
Yeah.
I think that's exponential, to say the least. It's really, really great to see, like, we would produce 4 plays a year, and now we have, you're giving flight to 76 voices. And so I think that that's fantastic. It's you have such a granular memory of so many things that have happened at Venus, that I think and you're a writer on top of that, and so to put those two things together, to sort of take the journey, I think is a wonderful thing, because not many people have done what you've done. And I think it's nice to shed light on the experience.
Yeah, I feel like it's sort of like writing about time capsules too, because we've been in the same area the whole time, but the world has changed so much, you know, just like whatever the world was dealing with at the time, it's like I had to deal with it as I was producing. So it's sort of like in a way, a little bit of a time capsule, I think, for the region. I'm not sure. We'll see. But it's
Yeah, it really seems like it. And I feel like, because I feel like so many plays were so reflective of what was happening, like, and not necessarily intentionally, but they just coincided so perfectly with what was happening in the world at the time.
yeah, it's interesting. I need to talk to these writers, because Venus wouldn't exist without living playwrights, you know, so it only made sense to ask. At least I didn't expect over 300 people literally from all over the world to send their work to me, and so that was overwhelming in the best way possible. And now I'm just excited to see what happens, but also nervous, because you know how when you stay in your cave, it's all safe. And I was talking to Fengar Gale yesterday, or the day before, and she was saying, you know, we playwrights, and I said, to me, playwrights are gods of their own worlds, right? They create worlds, and they decide who says what and when they talk and what they wear and what the weather is and what the environment. I mean, they're gods of their own world, and it's so weird to go from that to just like releasing it out into the universe, into the world, just to having to have complete control to absolutely having no control at all. It's such a wild journey to have to do that, you know?
Well, I think it's powerful for you to create the opportunity. I mean, as much as the playwrights create their own world, they are also planting a seed that they hope will be, you know, get some sunlight and water. And I think that what you're doing is saying, I can facilitate that. I can help what you've written reach a wider audience, and and also the community of it, the communal aspect of it. You know, when you choose 4 playwrights, they're not necessarily all connecting with each other, but there's something unique about this project, and that there's kind of a togetherness that people feel in the sheer number of people that are involved, that they all resonate with the same possibility of what this project represents. And that's really powerful to see. And so I think it's, you know, inspirational just artistically to see that many people excited about getting a chance to have their voice heard.
It's also exciting to reconnect with the designers. Like, the hardest part is Chris, because there's no real lighting design to this. But I mean, we had so many moments at Venus where we would all just be in one room in our insular world doing our thing, but connecting at the same time, you know? And remember that one moment, Amy, when we were each doing something, and it was like this heaven moment where you're just in the zone all together in a room. There's something, I can't describe it. It's like, you know what I'm talking about, though?
It's magical, and to see the world just like, I think it was a Galactic we were doing, and you were working on something on the set or costume or something, and I was working on set, and Chris had the lights and Neil had the sound going, and it was like suddenly we were in the world, like the world was real, and we were not only creating it, but we existed in it in that moment, and all were connected, and it was beautiful.
It was so gorgeous. And so I was able to call Neil and say, listen, you know, can we work together on the audiobook of my book? Of course, not the monologues, but of course, Deb. So just the idea of like being in studio with Neil in the future, I'm so excited about it. And then Laura is off and running. I mean, Laura's been doing so much with the website, and you never see Laura really, but she's doing stuff. And she's always got the graphic design going for us. And when we had the space, it was the storefront with the banners, you know. And now she's working on a store where, you know, we're going to have product that Laura designs. I'm just kind of really excited about that. She's in it. And I'm just like, maybe we can have a bathing suit for the summer that's got Venus on it, or I don't know. So I'm excited to see what she comes up with. And I feel like that's what I miss about my job. is like seeing what the team comes up with, and that's sort of that cauldron of collaboration where everybody puts their stuff in and we kind of swirl it, and then poof, we have a, you know, a whole world, you know. So we'll see. I know people are asking where are you located, and they want us to have a space again, but I feel like the space is going to be the book right now. And I feel like theater happens everywhere. It needs to be happening everywhere. It doesn't need to be entitled in a very expensive building. It needs to be on the coffee table. It need, you know, you should be able to pick up the book and read aloud to each other or gather. I don't know. Is that too hippie? What are you both thinking about that?
Well, I think a lot of your productions, one of the things that's unique about Venus is its ability to sort of distill an artwork down to its most important elements and sort of present those in a way that's structurally sound. And so, to me, I just think that you've always needed to do more with less, but you also appreciate the restraint that it takes to just give something its focus without giving it a lot of adornment or a lot of, you know, embellishments. And so I think that really you're just doing the most with what you have, and I think it's something that because you have a track record of getting these things done 70 times over these years.
You never canceled a show.
That
almost killed me. That's crazy. I'm like, I should have canceled that one. And that, no, we'll make it happen. We'll make it here.
Yeah, and what I think people have come to expect and appreciate is that, you know, you have a way to create something very transcendent. Because you have an attention and a deep understanding of what makes a piece of art work.
No,
so, you know, I'm glad to see this book, this work coming out, and also your reflections on it. I think it's illustrative of that exact ethos. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Well, tomorrow we have 3 playwrights coming on at 1 live. So, or is it 2? I think it might be 2. I need to check. There's so many numbers and dates. Yeah. So, ooh, wait, I can look right now. Tell me if I lose you.
Okay.
Technology. When I started Venus, I didn't have this. Can you still see me?
Yep.
Okay. Tomorrow we have Doc on from Oxford, England. And this is at 2:00 Eastern Standard Time. Helen Mo is on from Maryland, and Christine Benevenuto is on from Western Mass. So we've got Massachusetts, Maryland, and Oxford, England coming on at 2:00 tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, if all goes well, we'll have a drop-in session with Carolyn Gage. And then we'll go back to Fridays at 2. But I'm also talking to another, oh, now I can't see you. I'm also talking to another one of my playwrights about there you are, about another special session. So Paula Kamen, hers is about Mickey, who's a woman that was actually in the Jane movement in Chicago. And she kind of said, like, you know, should we live stream Mickey? And I was like, yes. And what's been so great about this anthology is being able to create my own categories and not having to pay too much attention to the canon, but to be like, oh, this is how I would categorize these in my brain as I was putting together a season. And so biography becomes a really big category. And so we have these monologues about women who exist, you know, which is so important and sometimes really difficult to stage in a full production. So I feel like that's a huge thing. So we're hoping we can get Mickey on with Paula, but I don't know when yet. But she's not in great health, and I think she's in a care facility, so it'll be touch and go. But if we can do that and we send her our love, like pioneer, you know, and it's like going to meet Gertrude Ederle. Like when you read about these women and their characters, you find out they're real. It's incredible to actually be able to meet them, you know? When does that even happen? You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah,
very
it's pretty amazing.
And just even if it's only to say thank you, just thank you. And that's all we get out of the conversation. I feel like that's incredible. You know, another play is about this woman who inspired a whole theater community, you know, and it's the whole monologue is her last Zoom session with her friends, you know, and it's just very sweet. I mean, yeah, just incredible real stories of women. And I feel like producing women can be really difficult because in the canon, I think Meryl Streep said that we speak the language of men all the time. We speak man all the time, but the world doesn't really speak female. Like it doesn't speak our story. So as a producer, sometimes it's really hard to get the exposition all in place. Sometimes it could feel like a Wikipedia that you're putting on stage just because nobody knows the story behind that. They don't know the moment before the play begins. So you can really get trapped in explaining what that is. And it's important, but it's frustrating, I think, as a theater producer when you just want characters to find their dynamics and take the journey, you know? So I think publishing is going to be really helpful in sort of filling in that gap. Am I talking too much? We can stop now. What do you guys think? I'm going to drink tea, you talk.
Oh, I was just gonna say, oh, what was I gonna say? Oh shoot, my dog was barking and distracted me. I'll be right there. So yeah, I think and giving and like we said, just having all of these pieces in one place for people to access, I think like nowhere else this doesn't exist. Like that I know of. Have you seen it? I haven't seen it. Nobody's like this all of these female voices in one place. And
there are
as an
two
actor,
organizations like have websites, you know, that can, but I think this is curated, right? So it's subjective. It's like what I think I would produce, you know? So in a way I don't know if there's anything curated like this by a theater professional and not by an industry, you know what I mean? Maybe a novel person, but you know, by an actual theater person. I don't know if I never know, you know, people have to tell me like, you're the longest running regional theater in the nation. I'm like, well, that can't be true. It's like, no, I submit plays all over the nation. And I'm telling you, there's one other company and they're, you know, national. And I was like, what? So, I mean, as women, again, it's the same thing. It's like, we're not in the canon. We're not just known variables. So it's like, I don't really know. I don't know if that's true. I assume it is, but no one's disproven it. So
right.
I wish they would. It'd be like, awesome. There's somebody. Oh, that's so good. We could become like bonded.
Yeah. It just seems like such a gift to the theater world, especially the women of the theater world.
I mean, we'll see. I think for me, it's just really, it's a thank you and an admission that my life, my career would not exist without living playwrights who write powerful female characters. What would I've done these past 35 years? I don't know. What would I wouldn't be who I am without playwrights writing. And so for me, it's just a sincere acknowledgement and thank you. And it's changed my life. And I think it's awesome. And I just want to like splash around in the celebration of the awesomeness. That's the goal. But I have an April deadline, so I'm not splashing a lot right now.
Well, it'll be warmer later.
Yeah, right. That's good. I need to still be in my cave. Yeah. Send me away. All right. Well, let's see how this all goes. I'm hoping that I can capture this, hold it as a recording, maybe share it to Facebook possibly, but definitely put it on our Patreon account. So it'll be archived there in place of our podcast. So we can call it a podcast. If people don't have video, they can just hear us talking. Aren't they lucky?
Lucky them.
Well,
I just want to say welcome to the playwrights that are coming up tomorrow, and yes, congratulations.
Yeah, Doc's going to be on there from England. You know, Doc is like, we did, you know, God Don't Like Ugly, Doc, and that whole woo! Like, it's gonna be hard not to talk about that production and just talk about the play she submitted, because she's like, I just see Esme wiggling. I see her little butt wiggling under the hood of a car, and I'm like, I'm not putting an actor under the hood of a car. It's not happening. That's not happening, you know. And then working with Elizabeth, who was designing, like, well, maybe you could put a car door out there, like suddenly I'm stalking Crazy Ray's junkyard, like in every season. I feel like it was Frozen. I slipped. I almost cracked my head on frozen mud with metal sticking up like shrapnel, and then it was muddy, and it was. I feel like I went through the entire seasonal rotation there, and then to find that bug in the back of the lot, just like stopped my heart, you know.
And then to actually get it into the building.
Like a Volkswagen, that's a trunk. That's a trunk. So I was like, check the hinges so many times. I'm like, this is solid. This is totally solid. And Elizabeth is like, we don't need the whole car. I'm like, oh, we need to chop it in half. Remember, Amy, we were like, we need to buy some sawzalls. And I think we found really cheap sawzalls. We're like, and then Crazy Race was like, you can't have gasoline here. You can't, like, what's this? Like, you need, and they're just guys walking around with random equipment. Like, oh, let us know. Listen, how much, Carlos? Like, and then somebody was watching this on Facebook. One of our audience members is like, here's a $500 donation. I just want to see if you can do it. It's like, oh, I'll do it. Oh, now I'll definitely do it. Yeah. Had to borrow a truck. And then I didn't bring these straps, and they had to like cut out the seat belts and put a loop over the hood between the windows. And then this forklift, and it was like he had cut it on an angle, so it was like on this forklift. Oh man, the whole story. It's in my book. I won't give it away.
Yeah.
But anyway, I won't talk to Doc about that tomorrow somehow.
Somehow.
Thank you for welcoming them, Alan. And also just to honor the playwrights who are like, I've given you my monologue to publish. That's plenty. Like, you know, and that's fine too. So these women are going for it. It's exciting. It's exciting times.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I hope I don't screw this up. Thank you both. I'll see you in a minute.
All right. Thank
I'll see
you.
you tomorrow, Amy.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, we've stopped streaming. We're no longer